Come on in. Come on in. I have to share this with you. I have to share this with you. Okay. Come on in, please. Come on in. Come on in and share this with everyone. Share this with everyone. This isn't something that is to be taken lightly at all. Not at all. Because what happened this weekend, I don't want to ever have that happen to you. It was something that I knew would be a possibility. I knew it would be a possibility, but um, I really didn't think that this certain legislator, we'll just say that, this certain legislator would behave like that. Okay. And we'll go ahead and keep this particular legislator anonymous. They are amazing. They are amazing people. However, I did have to confront them with a scorecard that they did not necessarily like. They didn't necessarily like it, and I didn't really mince words. Now, for those of you who don't know what a scorecard is, that's what measures the legislators' current constitutional voting record. Yeah, it measures their constitutional voting record. And I actually presented the scorecard before, I believe, over 70 people. It was pretty, and I think that's being conservative. It was pretty big. It was pretty big, and there were some influencers there, right? Absolutely, people that move the needle, okay? And they were there, and again, guys, it was not my intention to hurt her, or to feel that she was being bashed, that they were being bashed. I just I needed to get the point across because if we don't confront these legislators with their constitutional voting records, who's going to? Can I just give you an example of what I'm talking about? When I say scorecard, this is what I mean. Okay. Watch this. When I say scorecard, this is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the smile that the person has. Let me share my screen. I'm talking about their constitutional voting record. I'm going to share my screen right now. Okay. So this is the congressman for Arizona, District 6. Just so happens to be my particular district. But he is a congressman in Arizona, from Arizona, and 6th District. Okay. Do you notice his lifetime score? Do you see that? 45%. Now, when I was in school, a 45 was an F. And it's not even in D plus territory, you know? It's not even in D plus territory because there were some schools that if you got like a 58, it was a D minus. Where I was at in Altus, that was an F. But in some schools, a 58 is a D minus. And he didn't even make like that curve. You know what I mean? So if we're looking, right, at preserving our constitutional republic, we need to ask what these particular senators, what these particular congressmen, what are they thinking, voting the way they are? Okay, so we're just going to go over their scorecard here. And just this is an example. He is an active legislator. He's a good guy. We're not bashing him. We're just bashing that communist, that pinko commie legislator scorecard he has. Okay. So look at this. It's an unconstitutional vote, number one, and it was the amendment, Representative Matt Gaetz, Republican out of Florida, amendment to H.R. 2670. Now, this was rejected 70 to 358 on July 13th, 2023. And then for your reference, roll call 304. And what this bill would have done was prohibit the use of federal funds to provide security assistance to Ukraine. Okay, now Now, just in case you aren't familiar with the Constitution, Article 1, Section 8. What about the enumerated powers? Okay. What about them? And so the congressman said, yeah, I mean, I want to vote with my colleagues, with my commie colleagues. Okay. And that's okay if that's what you want to do, right? Because it's your decision, but it's not okay for the nation. Okay. Number two, Representative Mary Miller, Amendment to 3935. Now, he did good on this one. Okay. Prevents funds from being used to hire DEI officials or conduct DEI training. So he did good on that one. What we want to do, and this was not set up to bash him, okay, but just to bash his unconstitutional voting record. But the reason why we must, and this is a must, hold these legislators accountable is because they are literally holding the future in their hands with these bills, folks. Okay. They are voting us into slavery. Many of them are. Now, some know what they're doing and some don't know what they're doing. It is our job as citizens to get the word out on how they are voting so that they can do better. So that's why I'm placing this URL, okay, within the pinned block right here. Okay. It's going to be right here for you to see. Now, let me tell you what happened to me. I want to share with you what happened to me this past weekend. I was invited up to speak at this rally with over 70 people, and they were giving me great attention. I just loved the audience there. They were beautiful people, old, young, everyone was there at this particular rally. And they invited me up to speak first. And I spoke about states' rights and how it's the states that made the federal government and not the other way around. And I just went in on how what happens when a child runs the home. And they were all like, chaos. They were a very interactive audience. And I say, well, look at that. Isn't that what we have right now? Right? Since the states created the federal government, um, somehow the states were persuaded to allow the child, right, to allow the federal government to run the household. And that's not the way it goes. And so as I was saying this, man, let me tell you, I got cheers, I got, encouragement to keep going. Well, I kept going. And at the end, I shared a particular scorecard, the one you saw before. Now, do you know what a scorecard looks like? I'll go ahead and bring it up again. Okay. I shared this scorecard, and guess what? A legislator was there, guys. A legislator was there. And at first, I thought they were all on board with what I was saying, you know, until I got to their score. until until I got to their score, until I got to the point where they could see their voting record, this legislator's voting record, and you should have seen the aftermath. Oh man, what legislator likes to be pointed out when they're doing a horrible job constitutionally? Okay. They're doing a horrible job constitutionally. And so I did this not to embarrass them, not to bash them. I even gave them honor. I gave them honor. I clapped for them. The people clapped for them. I encouraged them to clap for them and to have this legislator's back. I sure did. When I got to the score and what they voted on, mm, mm, mm. They wanted to talk to me afterwards, and boy, they were not happy. They were not pleased at all. But I had to say, listen, I didn't do that. I'm not the cause for your concern. Your voting record, ma'am, your voting record is the cause. I point this out. And this is the point I want you to get, okay? If you're not confronting these powers that should not be, how are you going to preserve this constitutional republic? Remember what Benjamin Franklin said. He said it's a republic if you can keep it. Well, guess what? We are going to keep it. And how are we going to keep it? We're going to keep it by introducing scorecards to these congressmen right in the middle of their rallies. We're going to put up big billboards. Okay. We're going to have big old signs at the rallies with their scorecard on it. So that the minute they enter the door, they're going to be met with questions. If the scorecard is bad, questions. If the scorecard is good, questions, right? Hey, how can we keep this score high or make it higher, right? Questions, folks, because many times questions are the answer. This particular legislator was not interested in doing better. She just accused me on a continual basis when all I did was bring up the scorecard. See, you see the scorecard. That's all I did. It's very powerful. It's very powerful, but I do have to warn you, it will elicit a response that you may not be ready for. You have to confront them. Will they listen any other way? We see that they haven't been. So desperate times, have you ever heard of this? Desperate times call for desperate measures. So if you care about your country, and I know you do, I'm not questioning your loyalty at all. I know you do because you're tuning into this channel. This is another tool in your toolbox. Go ahead and click on it. Look up your legislator's name. Okay. Print it out. Okay. And then bring it to the next rally. You told me that you believed in the Constitution. Why are you voting against gun rights, against guns? Why are you infringing on the Second Amendment? Why are you infringing on that? Why? You can ask them this. It's better to do it in front of a crowd. It's so much more powerful. Ask them right in front of the crowd. Okay? Because, guys, when they come to your door with the military, it's too late, guys. It is too late. How many of you know it'll be too late? Okay, we do not want them coming to our doors. We want them far away. All right. We want to vote for the people who are constitutional within our counties, within our states, and not wield our power to some federal outside force. Okay. That's not what we're going to do. That's not even what we're about. Okay. We're about making sure that our freedoms stay intact, the global conspiracy stays over there across the pond, and that American exceptionalism is preserved. So that we have, yeah, go ahead and ask your questions, so that we have less government, more responsibility, and with God's help, a better world. Now, any questions? Any questions? Go ahead. Go ahead with your questions. We love it. We love those questions. Come on in. Come on in and ask them. Was she mad? Yes, she was furious. Furious, embarrassed, but I did not do that. I just shared with the people for scorecard. It's too late in the game to put up with these type of pinko commies. Okay. This particular legislator, their score was 17%. We cannot deal with that in this climate. Okay. We need people who recognize this country is not a democracy, but that it is a republic. Okay, and we will. Doesn't matter if you smile in our face or you call us your friend. Okay, we see your voting record. Okay, there is a scripture that says, with their mouth they honor me, but with their heart they are far from me. And you can tell the way a person is or tell what a person believes by their actions. And their voting record will speak for themselves. They're under some form of hypnosis. I don't know. They're under some form of delusion that when they get to a particular seat or get to a particular place, then they can make the changes. Let me tell you something, the way to make the change is right now. Okay? The legislator asked, well, why don't you run? Why don't you run for office? To the lady that was also kind of questioning why her constitutional voting record was so bad. And someone stepped in and said, because it was a step down, it would be a step down to be a legislator, okay, from an educated electorate. An educated citizen to be a legislator would be a step down because we're the ones that influence, okay? The breath, the body needs the breath. Without the breath, the body is dead. The breath is the influence, okay? Influence. What does that sound like? That sounds like influenza, right? Yeah, influenza. Have you ever had the flu? How is your breathing? Huh? Do you see how that relates? And so that would be a step down. Okay. She is very educated. Many of our members are very educated, and that's how we influence the legislature. That's how we win back our republic. Does that make sense? Our republic. Okay. And to the republic for which it stands, not democracy. Founding fathers knew what they were talking about, right? A lot of people want to get into the character of the founding fathers. Why would you do that? Why would you even care? Isn't this the free is the most free country on the planet? Okay. American exceptionalism is about our system of government, born out of tyranny. Remember how God called the light out from darkness, right? That's still a thing, right? And so our freedoms came out of tyranny. And they had this document called the Constitution, right? Because they did not want to go back under tyranny. Ooh, I know that's big, isn't it? Hey, save me some. Yeah, thank you. Right. You know what I mean? Man, those bunch of grapes, they were big. They were big promised land grapes. Do you see what I'm saying? Hmm. Yeah, so it does matter. It does matter who we put in office, okay? Because with censorship going on all over the place, we cannot allow ourselves to vote for another person who is for censorship, for another person who is for infringing on our God-given rights. You're supposed to secure the rights, not infringe upon them. Okay. So maybe it's time to get out. Maybe it's time to get out. All the legislators, you are put on notice. Can we just go ahead and put Arizona and New Mexico on notice today? And again, if you're embarrassed, remember it's not me embarrassing you. Okay. You did that. You did that. So let's go ahead and look at our all of Arizona's um, legislators. Let's go ahead. And this is all parties. Shout out to Elijah Crane, who cares about us in here in Arizona. He is the only one with a 100% score. Raul Grijalva has a 27%, but it is higher than the legislator who was a Republican, okay, over there in the other place. And so we're just going to let you look at some of our legislators over here in Arizona. That guy has a 5%. Okay, Mark Kelly. Look at our legislators here. Okay, look at our legislators, and that guy has a 6%. With the Democrats, we do see lower scores overall than the Republicans. They definitely need the Constitution. Okay. And what we want to do here is we want to go ahead and head our states up as well. Okay. Let's go ahead and see our states. A state legislator. State legislator. There we go. There we go. Now, let's go ahead and go to the state of Arizona. We're looking at our senators and state representatives. We do have some higher scores among the Democrats. Okay. Very good. Way higher than that Republican and that other place that we were at. And so here they are right here. Look at these low scores, 0%. My goodness, guys. Eva, come on. But this is why, folks, this is why you're seeing. This is why you're seeing the tyranny take place in our nation. They're allowing it. They are allowing it. Okay. Look at these horrible scores. Now, what if that was their report card? How many of them would be graduating? Okay, David Gowan wouldn't be graduating. All right. Look, 58. Gail, oh, she almost didn't graduate. Okay. Look at that. Liz Harris, she has a 100%. So shout out to Liz. Okay. But the rest of these just get shouts. The shouts of frustration. Okay. The rest of these people that have Fs, they just get shouts of frustration. Shouts of frustration, guys. We don't need this. We don't need this. Jacqueline Parker, shout out to you. You got a 92. All right. But this is why you're seeing the chaos in your states. Okay. Shout out to Justine. She's got an 83. All right. This is why. So if we go over to New Mexico, we're going to see something else. Notice the lower the constitutional voting record, the more tyrannical the state. Have you noticed that? The measures that are put in are just absolutely atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. How the gun control laws to free speech, they hate free speech. Notice how the lower your scores are, okay? Overall, in that state representative, whether you're a state representative, state legislator, it doesn't matter. The more tyrannical the state is. Look at this. A lot of these jokers got single digits. My goodness. Is there any 100 percenters here? Is there anyone who scored above an 80? My word. Did anyone score above an 80 here? Look at all these Fs. Now, if they were in high school, they wouldn't be able to graduate. Well, Cliff is ready to graduate. Who is teaching these people? Oh, my goodness. Guys, we need to pray for New Mexico. Look at all these zeros. Look at all of these zeros. Let me see here. There we go. Okay. All right. And then we got, look at this, man, 17s. We got 33s. We don't listen, we need someone who's gonna stand up. Because these Democrats, what you need to understand that many of these Democrats, and there are some that love the Constitution, but many of the Democrats on the Senate side and the state House of Representatives side, this 0% is 100% to them. So they're getting A's because they're communist. They have communist ideas. Many of them do. And they vote communistically. Okay. And let's just go ahead and give you an example of the communist leanings. Okay. Yeah. So they get 100% for the communist scorecard. Okay. They're doing exactly as Karl Marx. She has a lifetime score. This person has a lifetime score. of 0%. They are not pro-liberty at all. Listen, permanent residence for legal aliens under 21. She said, yeah. They said, yeah. Excuse me. Gary. Universal background checks for firearms. Now, wouldn't that be ashamed if a Republican said yes, or someone who said they loved America said, yeah, universal background checks? Why? No, because that's an infringement. Okay. Look at what it says. This bill effectively requires a background check. State-sponsored abortion and sex mutilation. This person said yes. Free school meals paid for by the government so that the federal government can take control. This person said yes. Diversity Act, yes. No life sentence for juvenile murderers. This person said yes. Increasing teacher salaries. Public education. Did you know it's not a constitutional right? Who can better teach your kids? You or the government? Okay, look at this. She's down the line. See, they vote down the line, communist. That's what we're saying. They vote down the line, communist. And they don't sway from their ideals. And them jokers are still in office. But do you see what I'm saying? We need you to show them the scorecards, to go around and your neighbors and say, listen, these people suck. Now, I don't know about them as people, but their constitutional voting record sucks. They may be good moms and dads, all right? They may be good teachers, whatever it is, but their constitutional voting record is atrocious. And we are not going to put up with it anymore because we know what stops them, okay? And we need them out. So, folks, I just wanted to share that with you because it's on my heart to do so. Please, if you have any, let me know what you think. What do you think about these atrocious scorecards? Okay, they say that they love the Constitution. They say that they love America, but their hearts are far from us. We know their hearts are far from us because of their constitutional voting record. Got any questions, folks? Just let me know. We will see you on another broadcast. God